Good morning, senators, congressmen. Thank you so much for inviting little old me, political Paula, from Pennsylvania, a real Facebook user who actually understands how to use Facebook, to come and address you. I feel very blessed that I live in America, where someone like me can come and talk to all of you. So I watched the hearings last week. I heard your questions to Mark Zuckerberg, otherwise known on Facebook as God. I was concerned by many of your questions. I was even more concerned by the fact that most of you don't really understand how to use Facebook, how to protect your privacy. You don't understand that there are already things in place that allow you, intelligent, educated people, to choose for yourself what you share and with whom, and to actually be able to read something on Facebook and maybe not believe it because you're too smart to believe that kind of crap. The stuff like Hillary Clinton's a criminal and all gay people are perverts. See, we see that stuff on Facebook. And those of us who are intelligent, we ignore it. Or we hit the delete button or the hide button. Or even better yet, in my case, the block button. To Senator Cruz, I would like to say to you, sir, you can sleep well at night. You asked Mark Zuckerberg many questions that concerned you about the content of Facebook. You lamented that there was not enough religious right-wing rhetoric on Facebook. And I'm here to tell you, sir, there is. Believe me, I see pages every day. I see people every day on Facebook writing about how bakers should be able to refuse to make a wedding cake for gay people because they don't agree with their lifestyle. I see things every day that Planned Parenthood should just go away, should disappear, should be put out of business. I see that every day. I ignore it, and I hide it, and I delete it, and I block it, but it's there. Believe me, sir, your 1950s views on women are well represented on Facebook. Your views about gays and the LGBTQ community are represented on Facebook. So you need not worry, Senator Cruz. We do see the stuff on Facebook. Now, should Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook accept money from people who are advertising hatred and discrimination against those whose lifestyles they don't agree with? No, sir. I submit to you they should not. They should not, because that would offend the majority of people who use the platform. You talk so much about privacy and hate speech and terroristic speech, and yet it sounded to me, Mr. Cruz, Senator Cruz, sir, that you want Mark Zuckerberg to advertise on Facebook with groups who promote hatred. Hatred of Muslims, peaceful Muslims, hatred of people who support the LGBT community and the community itself. You would like Planned Parenthood pages taken off of Facebook. So I submit to you, sir, that is against our First Amendment. It is against their rights to say it, to put the page up, and it is against the First Amendment for us not to be able to read it, if we so choose. And that right there is the point, Senator Cruz. Choice. Choice. Senator Cruz, you asked Mark Zuckerberg another question which offended me as an American citizen, and it basically had to do with hiring practices at Facebook. If I were walking into a company today for a job interview, and the person interviewing me asked me who I voted for in the 2016 election, asked me what church I go to, asked me my political views, asked me what I think about our current president, I would get up and walk out, because that, sir, is none of his business. When I am interviewing for a job as a secretary or an accountant or an accounts receivable person or someone who wants to fry some chicken for the public, it is not my employer's business how I vote, who and what I worship, where I worship, if I worship. That's not their concern. Now, of course, thanks to Facebook and what I choose to share on Facebook, an employer can go onto my Facebook page because it's public, and I choose to make it public, and they can find out how I voted. They can find out what I think about religion and religious discrimination. They can see that I am an activist for the LGBTQ community, that I believe in pro-choice for women. And because of that, they can choose not to hire me. Now, they won't tell me that's the reason. And I'm sure, Senator Cruz, that you approve of that. That's a good thing for Facebook, right? Don't you want to know, Senator Cruz, if someone applies to work in your office, if their brother or sister is gay? If they may not agree with your religious and political views? If they think they don't agree with you that women should go back to the 1950s barefoot and pregnant in their kitchens? You and Mr. Santorum from Pennsylvania? You'd want to know that about me. And in that case, Facebook would be your friend. I actually think it's wrong, and it should be illegal for any employer to use Facebook posts or comments on Facebook, or actually what people do on Facebook in their private time off the clock, to punish employees. But they do it, and I bet that's the part of Facebook that you love and would definitely not screw around with if you get your hands on Facebook, you and the government. To the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Billy Long, you have actually threatened Mark Zuckerberg in front of the entire country, live on C-SPAN. You said, Mr. Zuckerberg, and I quote, "We've left you alone all these years, but now we're going to overreact." And yeah, well, you know what? It won't be the first time the government's overreacted. Like that time when the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue, the government, made a mistake with my tax return and said I owed them $500, and they decided to threaten me with having the government come into my home and sell off my property to pay the $500, which actually it turned out I didn't owe them. Yeah, that was an oops on the government's part, but they did threaten. And the IRS, federal government, actually went into a viewer of mine's bank account. She owed them, I think, $3,000, and they actually went into her private bank account, her checking account, and emptied it without her consent or her knowledge. She only found out about it when her rent check bounced. Yeah. So you guys do overreact, and that is why these hearings terrified me and many other Facebook users, by the way. You know, we are not kindergartners. We are not uneducated. We are not stupid children or hillbillies or people who were raised in barns, that we can't decide for ourselves what is fact and what is fiction. If we are too stupid to understand that, that's on us. But we really don't need you to come in and stand over Mr. Zuckerberg's shoulder and say, nope, the American people can't handle that one. No, make sure they see that one. Don't let them see that one. See, that's not what the First Amendment says. Because when you start doing that, you're messing with the First Amendment. The right for people to have free speech. The right for people to talk against the government. and the right of all of us who choose to see it and read it, and then do with the information what we will. We all know, okay, and I actually got a notification. This is funny. I just got this notification today, breaking news. When I went on to Facebook this morning, I got this paragraph that said, "We wanted to let you know that Facebook has banned the app This Is Your Digital Life because one of your friends used Facebook to log into it, and this app may have shared your information with Cambridge Analytica." So what? That's my response. I'm not upset. I'm not freaking out. I'm not calling the FBI. You know why? Because I don't care if Cambridge Analytica knows who I am. A lot of people know who I am. A lot of people who I probably wish didn't know who I am know who I am. But that's not because of Facebook. It's because my grocery store, every time I swipe my grocery card, the Tostitos people know I buy Tostitos. The Sensodyne toothpaste people know I use Sensodyne toothpaste. The Sharpie people know I like Sharpies. People have my information. People on Facebook put their address on freaking Facebook, on public Facebook. They put their phone numbers on Facebook. We need cards, we need prayers. Here's our address. They do it themselves. Is it smart? I don't know. I wouldn't do it. But again, they do it. But that's their choice, senators and congressmen. That's their choice. There are stupid people in this country, but they don't need you to tell them they're stupid. They can find out for themselves. But I don't have any problem that Cambridge Analytica knows who Paula Luciano is. Because Cambridge Analytica did not change my vote or influence my vote. Nothing I read or saw on Facebook changed or influenced my vote. As soon as Donald Trump became the Republican candidate, I knew how I was going to vote. Now, yes, some people in this country did go to Facebook, but they also went other places. Who should I vote for? Who should I vote for? They voted because their parents told them who to vote for. Well, we're voting this way. You should vote with us. They went to the bar. The bartender said, "I'm voting for Trump." They voted for Trump. I submit this to you, senators. Maybe we should have an IQ test for voters. Voting is the most important thing American citizens will ever do. And this is how all of this Facebook and social media brouhaha started with the 2016 election. People who saw on Facebook that Hillary Clinton, if she became president, was going to spend her entire presidency under indictment for crimes committed against our country. Everyone in her White House would need to hire lawyers and be testifying in front of Congress and being investigated by special counsel. Oh, wait a minute. That's actually happening right now. Only it's not happening to Hillary Clinton. She's up in Chappaqua drinking Chardonnay and doing book tours and taking long walks in the woods. It's the Donald Trump White House who's under indictment. The Donald Trump White House that's under investigation. The Donald Trump White House where if you even walk into the White House, you need to hire a lawyer. Isn't it interesting? Isn't karma a witch? I won't curse in front of Congress. That would be wrong. But as of right now, I can still curse on my show on Facebook. Keep it going. Keep free speech alive. So yes, there were some people that I spoke with who said, I saw this on this platform and I'm not voting for Hillary now because she's a criminal. So they voted for Trump, who is now probably a criminal. I don't know. I know he's under investigation. all the fears that people had that stopped them from voting for Hillary, that they saw on Facebook, yes, but also on Fox News, and they listened to it and they believed it, well, maybe they shouldn't be allowed to vote if that's where they get their information. Anybody, in my opinion, my First Amendment protected opinion, sirs and madams, who chooses who they're going to vote for based on what a Fox News reporter tells them, what their bartender tells them, what their mommy and daddy tell them, what their grandparents tell them, what their hairstylist tells them, that's not the way you choose who you vote for. You put in some time. You watch the debates, which I did. I watched every second of every debate. If the candidates wrote books, I read the books. I knew who I was voting for when I voted for them. And to be honest with you, I didn't agree 100% with everything Hillary Clinton stands for. And I still don't agree with everything the Democrats stand for. But I will say to you, I certainly never agreed with what Donald Trump stands for. I don't like the fact that I believe he's disrespecting the office of the presidency. He is disrespecting our reputation. He's ruining our reputation around the world as Americans. I care about my country, and that's how I voted. Nothing I saw or read on Facebook influenced my vote in any way, shape, or form, because that's not how I roll. I get educated. And again, members of Congress, thank you for having me here, but I must say in conclusion, we don't need you censoring Facebook. We don't need you standing over Mark Zuckerberg's shoulder, deciding what we can and cannot see on social media platforms of any kind. It's time to get personal responsibility back into the American people's vocabulary. And if we screw up, if we believe something, if we get fooled, well, it won't be the first time, it probably won't be the last time. But that is up to us. And then we must learn from our mistakes. Hopefully, a lot of people have learned from their mistake in 2016. Maybe not. So in conclusion, thank you for your time, for hearing an actual Facebook user who was actually very happy with the service, because I'm intelligent enough to know how to use it, to know what's real and what's not, or what I believe and what I don't, because I'm an American citizen. I care about my country, and I don't judge other people based on their lifestyles. I don't want to take women back 50 years, and I don't want to read anything or see any advertisement that thinks that would be a cool thing. But if you get your way, and we start seeing more ads for anti-gay bakeries and anti-woman clinics, clinics that refuse abortion to women even though it's their right, fine. We'll deal with it. That's why I have this and the delete button. Thank you again for your time. It's been a privilege to speak with you. And as I say every day on my, as of right now, free speech political show, Political Paula is out. And God bless the United States of America.